Well, this is Brian again. This is part 5 of the hike to Scodie Mountain. I've reached a part of the ridge line near a small saddle and a small little peaklet over here off to the, I think this is the east, roughly east. Getting up here since my last check-in, part 4, has been brutal. I'm not going to mince my words about this one. This is a brutal slope to climb. And I'm kind of near some kind of peak, I believe, here. I don't know what peak that would be, if any peak, but I'm going to have to climb over it. Let me tell you, it's getting over here. I've had thoughts about turning around. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're going to try this hike, unless you're really insane about cross-country travel, you might want to take the PCT from Walker Pass Campground. You'll have a little cross-country when you get up to the ridge line, but you'll be coming from the opposite direction, I believe. This has been rough. Navigation-wise, I'm fine. I'm not worried about being lost. I can see the hill, that lower hill right there is right across the street from where I parked my car. And I can see the roadway. I can see where I might have missed out on getting on the road heading southwest right off the get-go, because I think I was supposed to go a little bit further along past the foundations of that one house. Old house, and really didn't. One thing I'm grateful for is the weather is nice today. It's a little mild when the sun comes out, but right now with the mostly cloudy skies and the nice gentle breeze, the weather is really nice to compensate for how much sweat I'm producing. This is a hard hike. You're trying it this way. I don't know, maybe from the PCT from Walker Pass Campground, probably a significantly longer hike, but it's probably more gradual because you're mostly on the PCT, and you'll have some cross country at the end, of course. But this is brutal. I'm not gonna lie. You know, sunscreen on me too. It's the month of April. Let's see, you make sure your skin's protected. I'm not gonna mince my words. This was a really hard climb. The soil is so loose, and this is not even half as bad as it was down the slope. So now what I got to do is kind of pick my way. I'm probably gonna have some bushwhacking. I had a little bushwhacking on the way up here, but it looks like it might get more because there's a lot of canyon live oak and single-leaf pinyon along here. And we're finally starting to see some beaver tail cactus. Opuntia basilaris variety basilaris. Wait till this thing blooms. Those flowers are awesome. They're kind of like almost like electric purplish pinkish. Absolutely beautiful flower when that plant blooms. It's actually one of the showiest prickly pears. It's a type of a prickly pear, because it's in the genus Opuntia, so it's one of the prickly pears. So I don't know if that peak has a name. At this point, I don't think I have the extra energy to expend going up that. It looks like a lot of class 2 and maybe some class 3 over there. Probably gonna have a lot of the same, but in much larger scale going up this way. So I gotta tell you, I'm getting in better shape for hiking than I was, but this one I had to stop a lot to catch my breath, relax, and also because it takes a really heavy toll on your leg muscles, because you're just climbing up this sandy like decomposed granite, and it does take a toll. It will slow you down, I promise you. Even I think this hike would be definitely more for experienced hikers who are able to handle the insane cross country. Like I said, I'm not having trouble finding routes. I'm not worried about that. It's just that the loose soil just will do you in. I'll tell you one other thing though. It is a very scenic hike. Very beautiful scenery here. Heard so many different types of birds chirping. I'm not really keen with ornithology. I'm not a bird expert. One bird I know I heard was a stellar jay. Heard that one. And I heard a bunch of other different types. A few that I've never heard before hiking, say, in the Angeles National Forest, the Cleveland, or the San Bernardino National Forests, or the Los Padres National Forest, which are more in Southern California. Except for Los Padres goes up to Central California. But hearing birds I've never heard before. I mean, scene-wise, it's pretty similar to the desert side of the San Gabriels or the San Bernardinos. It's decomposing granite, lots of pinyon woodland, lots of shrubby canyon live oaks, except haven't seen any junipers. I don't know if any junipers make their home in the Scodies, except for maybe California juniper towards the foot near Walker Pass. I know I've seen California junipers down there, but it's a very scenic hike. You have some good views to the Sierra Nevada. Very good views, actually. Wondering if that peak is Olancha. I'm not sure. This is a little bit different of an angle, but you can see over towards the higher Sierras over there, and then over towards the Kern Plateau, a little bit closer here, those ridges down there. That's more towards the Kern Plateau, which is not quite as high up. More like the southern and central part of the Kern Plateau really doesn't even quite get to 10,000 feet until you start getting closer towards Olancha Pass and stuff like that. Then you start seeing more 10,000 foot peaks. The Scodies, like I said, my plan right now, and depending on how much more insanity I got to endure today, my plan is still to make it to the top of Scodie Mountain, and that's the highest point in the Scodie Mountains. Sometimes it's just referred to the Scodie Mountains high point, and again, it's 7,294 feet, so it's not a super high peak, but you're going to earn this one. If you try one of the cross-country routes, be prepared to earn it. It looks like I'm going to have some decent scrambling up ahead too. I've had a lot of class 2 along the way, and it's mostly because of the technical level added by the soil. The soil, again, makes this a lot more technical than it otherwise would be. So be prepared for a tough slog. Somehow I ended up with a canyon live oak leaf in my pocket. Because I've slipped, ended up sliding back, and then had to reposition myself back up. But all right, part 6. I can't honestly tell you what's going to be in store when I do part 6, because I don't know what the rest of the climb is going to entail, other than lots of scrambling and probably a lot more bushwhacking than the previous segment. And I had a fair amount of, minor to moderate bushwhacking, nothing severe, but definitely got my shirt caught on some branches. So should be interesting to see what's in store for me now. Like I said, I don't know what's over here. I don't know if that's Scodie itself. I figured I'd get to the lip of the ridge. I pointed out two ridges, or not two ridges, two dips where I was going to either go left or right. And I think I went left of the left one. Somehow I ended up a little further to the left than I was planning on. But again, I was trying to get to the points of least resistance. At least I think I don't know. Now I'm not sure if I'm actually left or actually at that lip. Because I noticed this side here gets pretty rugged and steep, and this side of the lip was a little gentler. So I don't know now. All I know is I'm at a dip in the ridge, and I'm getting ready to, after taking a break, I'm going to get ready to slog up that. And where I check in next, I could be at the summit. Part 6 might be at the summit, or it might be shy of it, or something completely altogether. So I'll check back in for part 6. Thank you for watching my series. I hope you're enjoying it thus far. I'll tell you one thing, this is a lot more work than I anticipated, but still trugging along.